mean, I feel like I treat them well. I'm easy hang.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm sure you're familiar with.
Fast.
Yeah, come fast. Easy. Mike comes even faster. Like Mike comes on himself, and then they come up, and I come on them.
He doesn't even come out until the end. He just pops out of the closet.
Just like that bonus scene. It's like, hey, you want a little?
Exactly. Yeah, he's the bonus DVD.
Yeah,
he's the bonus.
Yeah,
he's the bonus
cut, the cutaways.
No, but I feel like since that Whatever podcast dropped, you know that podcast, right, Mikey? The one that you in Santa Barbara. It's like a 3-hour podcast where they just have OnlyFans girls and super.
The one that says whatever in the background.
Yeah, supermodels
or
porn stars.
That's in Santa Barbara.
That's where he records it, and it goes on for 3 hours, and it's just him eviscerating women.
I've seen it,
and it's like a big gotcha podcast. And I'm like, I'm not. What? I wouldn't want to have a guest on. I don't want to talk to.
You.
Like, why would fucking. I'm trying to think of who I would hate in the chair. If
he
fucking
just beats the shit
Vladimir
out of
Putin's
girls.
there, I'm like, hey, why are you a piece of shit? It's not. It's really not a pod. It's not a fun interview.
I agree.
I
agree.
So
I can't even get into that.
Yeah. So when I have those girls on, I just ask them questions like, hey man, what's that like?
Yeah.
How'd you get into that? Do you like it? Does it pay well?
John.
How is OnlyFans shit? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking mean.
Yeah.
I don't have an agenda saying like, oh, because you're a sex worker, you're a whore.
No.
It's like, they're
pineapple
whores.
really
They know.
You want to be the guy that they stay an extra 20 minutes at a choice. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's who you want to be.
I want to be the guy who the stripper tells her real name because she trusts me. That's the guy.
That's how you get through the fucking. That's how you get through the gates, dude. You want to.
Yeah. All right, Cinnamon. What's your real name?
Yeah.
Dana. All right, Dana.
I want to be the guy who brings his papers that says he's clean.
Yeah. You can fuck on Mikey without a condom.
Wow.
Just in case.
Are we back in, Mikey?
Yeah.
All right. Hopefully you saved all that from the beginning. All right, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Ready Set Below podcast. Paul Roseberry back, my guy. Absolute funny comic. Great dating coach. As I was saying, I don't know if you guys. It depends on where Mikey cuts this in. I was talking earlier that this is the first time I've done back-to-back podcasts in a while because I've been so busy. But I had some road travel coming up, so I was like, let me book them back.
That's DP, right? That's
double penetration.
Yeah,
double pod, double penetration. My anus and my anus, both holes, one hole twice. DPDA.
That's
But
TMI on the DP.
Yeah. A lot of abbreviations to start the podcast. No, but we were just having a conversation with our previous guest, Jeremy Scipio, who you would have heard last week, and Paul came in, and we had about 15 minutes out front that I wish the mics were on.
Oh.
And it got a little personal, but it was real fun.
It was
real fun. I was like, I gotta have Paul and Jeremy back separately and then together.
Yeah, and there was alcohol involved, and it was talking about women, and it's all volatile things, all assassinations of famous individuals.
That's right. I made a great MLK joke.
It was fucking awesome.
That I could never retell again because the context was needed.
It was so good, though. It was like
making black people laugh as a white, I'm barely a white guy. I identify as a white guy on camera.
I like how much qualification went into that fucking setup before it was even complete.
But
making black people.
Yeah, exactly. I coughed. I can't say that. No, but making a black guy laugh at a racial joke is always a real sweet spot.
Especially making a black guy laugh about killing MLK. That's it. That's a
making
wild.
A funny MLK assassination joke to a black guy. That's a real hard needle to thread. I threaded it. I'm happy.
You gotta have the right scope to pull that kind of range.
At least there was two other comics there to verify this. They'll tell the story. I won't have to.
Hey, not even a revisionist story. It was the real thing. It was what actually happened.
All right. So, Paulie, last time you were here, you had a baby on the way.
Oh.
Right? And now, was it 3-4 months old?
I love the it.
Well, listen, its gender hasn't been determined yet. We live in L.A.
Thank you, sir.
And as soon as that baby decides what gender it is,
at the age of whatever, whenever she tells her teacher who doesn't have to tell me.
Exactly.
Because Newsom said you don't have to snitch. That was what he said. He was telling someone,
which is I know, which is crazy because
snitching
because snitching isn't good in the black community, and they want to appeal to the black community. So maybe that's why they did this.
But wait a minute, don't they say snitches get stitches?
Yeah.
I thought trannies got stitches. Back from the dead.
That was Jeremy walking out with I hope the mics caught that. Paul said trannies get stitches, and our previous guest walks out and goes, canceled.
Gone. You just got cut off like an extra appendage.
It depends if they get stitches. I guess they all get stitches.
I think they must get, even if you get an addictomy, they still...
No. Well, the adding of the dick isn't what gets stitches for a trans man. The adding of the dick, they just give you hormones, I think, and they grow your penis. But then I think they have... It? Well, they so your clitoris enlarges, but then eventually they take extra flesh and then build a penis around it.
Yeah.
I think it's how it's worked. I'm not an expert. I'm not a doctor. But I think that's how it works.
I saw a girl with a clit like a thumb.
Oh, well, dude, China. Remember China back in the day?
I thought you meant the country.
China with a Y from the WWF.
Okay.
Before it became the WWE. Oh. Remember, she got into the porn thing, and she was on a lot of steroids because she was jacked, and she had a big girl penis, looked like a thumb. She had a clit thumb.
Did the camera add 15 pounds?
No.
She swung it like a mallet.
No. I think the anabolic steroids added 15 pounds.
Yeah. Wow. It was a lot. I mean, this chick I knew in New York, I was surprised I went back. But I did. I was like wasted. She lived in. I was just like
a girl you were hooking up with?
Yeah,
a tranny?
Yeah. No, Jesus.
Oh, just a regular girl with a big clit.
Just a real girl.
That does happen. Yeah.
And when I saw that thing, like I don't know, we had the lights on. We just kind of hooked up out of nowhere, and I was like, God, I didn't say anything.
Did you have to lift it up to get in?
No.
How much hang do we have here? You know what I'm saying?
I had to shake its hand like a dad.
Coming out hot in the first minute.
Oh no, it was like a lot. It was the most you could see and not comment on.
Did it have a bell end to it?
A what?
A bell end. Did it look like a?
I thought you meant bell, like a.
No, did it look like a mushroom cap? No, did it look like a mushroom? Okay,
I would have left.
Okay, yeah.
That's a dick.
Okay. That's what I'm saying. Did it look like a little dick?
No,
how much of a dick was it? A big clit or a little dick?
You know what?
There is a distinction.
There is. One, you stay with a lot on your mind, and the other one, you go home sooner than you thought.
Yeah, like why is my cock not that big?
Well, yeah. You're like measuring in opposite directions. Yeah. No, it was something to see. But yeah, no. Back to my daughter.
Roundabout way.
Yeah. No, so
good transition. Anyway, back to my daughter.
No transitioning. Yeah. That's my little girl.
That's what I'm saying. Transition back to your daughter.
Yeah. So
3 months old.
She'll be 4 months at the end of the week.
Do you identify? Do you love her yet? Because I've heard that fathers, that mothers automatically love their daughter, and fathers have to learn to love their children. Like once they realize it's theirs.
Yeah.
There's the connection that's unbreakable, but it takes a little bit longer than a mother. You don't go to the pain of labor. Right?
I didn't believe that was like a real mainstream situation. I thought that was for like a couple fucking one-off lumberjack kind of guys who, you know what I mean? Bro, it's real.
Yeah.
It's a fate worse than hell to have a child. Because no one tells you, they don't even smile when they're born. They don't give you anything. I said,
they're asleep.
No, but even when they're awake and you're looking at them and you're tickling them and they're just like, and you're like, the fuck? Do you know what I just did for you? I'm up at 3 a.m, 6 a.m, for all this shit.
Yeah, my future is gone thanks to you.
I realized a baby is all things rude in adults that would make you avoid that adult. You would never, someone who's they complain a lot. All they do is say what they want. They give you nothing back. All that shit.
You know, that helped me deal with children on planes.
Really?
Just understanding that I was like, oh, well, what would you do, Randy, if you had no words and you were on this horrible situation of a plane with strangers? I cry. And it's like, oh, yeah. Like I identify with babies after someone flipped it to me like that. I'm like, oh yeah, they get to behave how I wish I could behave.
Well, that's true. That's what we call adult babies.
I wish I could behave that way.
Yeah. And you hear, like people always say,
they'll take it from babies. They won't take it from adults.
Well, because
they're babies.
You always think they're like, oh, sleep like a baby. In the Bible, they say Jesus
Come
is
like a baby.
Wow. Hey now.
Oh, sorry. I read a different Bible.
I didn't start till later.
I read the Mormon Bible where they start early.
I started at the back. I should have gone right in the front. But you're like, wait, maybe life's not so good for real, because people are always like, oh, look at you're born a baby, you're so happy. You're not happy. It's all crying. Life is all crying.
I'm
screaming,
hungry. I'm uncomfortable.
Terror,
I shit my pants.
Fear. Shit
What's
myself.
happening to me? The lights are off. The lights are too bright.
Who are these
Where's
assholes?
mom? Where's dad? I hate mom. I hate dad. The whole thing.
I started to like my baby 3 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
3 weeks ago.
Okay, so now you won't smother her. Good.
Dude, did you know?
Did you know I thought
Did
about
you know? Yeah, I didn't say smother. Shook the shit out of him. No. But no, they say that actually the firstborn comes out looking like the dad.
I heard that.
So he won't abandon
He won't abandon it or kill
or
it.
hurt it.
Yeah. I heard that.
It fucking
I heard
will
that.
come over
But
you.
that's also a very mammalian thing. That's how you know that human beings aren't that far removed from the wild.
At all.
I mean, we have 200 years of civilization.
Thank you.
Most of the time, we're in the woods. And, dude, lions kill cubs who aren't their own.
Thank you.
And they kill hyenas because they kill lions, and hyenas kill lions. Like, so everything's the fact that now in this day and age, men take care of children who are not their own bloodline is a huge leap in civilization compared to the natural world.
That's how good pussy is.
Hugely.
You will take care of another man's child to get some. But dude, the thing with the lions, I remember hearing from tigers that if a mother tiger who has cubs, if the male leaves, which I don't know how bad shitty of a fucking female tiger you got to be for a male to be like, fuck this, I'm out of here. I got nowhere else to go.
Yeah, they're hard to find.
I got nothing else to do.
It's hard to find in the tiger world.
Starting over. I don't need this shit. But if that happens, the new male tiger will eat the babies.
Yep.
In front of her
to put her back into heat.
To put her into fucking heat.
Yep.
Nothing makes a bitch hornier than seeing a
killing
man
her kids.
eat her baby. She's like, well, I guess we got to get it going. Start like that's animals. Did you know the female shark? I know the tiger shark. I don't know if it's all sharks, but when she gives, all right. So inside the womb, the alpha shark baby will eat the other babies, all of his siblings, and then when he's born, she releases a hormone that is an appetite suppressant, which is to not eat him.
Yes,
sharks.
I've heard this. I've heard this because I've heard that the sharks, like a lot of sea creatures, they'll have sex with multiple mates and store the sperm, and the female won't give birth until the conditions are optimal, and then the sperm will inseminate the egg. So they'll like hold on.
Do the different sperm fight it out?
That's what
it's gotta be.
Sometimes they do, but in the case of tiger sharks, it sounds like they all inseminate the eggs, and the most prominent sperm
see. So you think
eats
those
the
are from
rest.
different dads, maybe? Wow.
Yeah, it's one of those things. That's how fucking crazy nature. Nature does not have the rules that we have as people. There is no genteelness in nature.
No.
You know.
That's why we live in a state of panic. We're always in a state of fucking panic. If you don't breathe for 1 minute, you're fucking dead. Maybe 3 or 4 if you're an athlete.
Yeah.
Dead. If you don't drink water for 3 days, dead. You don't have food for a week, dead. You know what I mean? If we're constantly trying to chase our own tail just to.
This is the thing about stress that I think the Western world hasn't come to grips with, is that stress is just part of life.
Yeah.
To not be stressed means you have a mental imbalance. To be stressed means you're
sociopath.
You're thinking or psychopath or some sort of abnormal behavior. To be stressed is normal because if you look at, I forget what comic it was, but he was making the reference of like, he goes, you ever see a fucking squirrel? He's like, they're fucking, he's like, they don't look calm. They're constantly stressed. What's gonna eat me? I need a nut.
They are.
He's like, that's life.
Yeah.
He's like stress is, if you're not stressed as an animal, it's abnormal. He's like, even fucking crocodiles are stressed.
Yeah.
Are we running out of water? Is there any food? I got to eat. I got to kill this. Like,
and they're dinosaurs.
That's what I'm saying. They live before the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
It's a normal thing. So you don't want to defeat stress. You want to deal with it reasonably.
And you want to direct it.
Yes.
If you can point your stress towards something you want to be
that's
stressed
what
about,
every successful animal does in nature.
Win at life.
Right? Exactly. What every successful animal does in nature is focus their attention, which stress is. It's just a focus of attention, like anything else. Focus that on a positive outcome. It's like, I'm stressed, I need to kill my enemy, or I'm stressed, I need to find food, or I'm stressed,
build
I need
a
to
bigger shelter.
Yeah. They don't say, I'm stressed, I'm going to kill myself. You've never seen a suicide
ever
in the natural world. Never.
No.
Only us, which is actually a privilege to think I'm never going to get out of this stress loop. I'm going to just get it.
That's what we've done with the abstract.
Yeah.
That's our contribution to having a greater tool than our neighbors.
You know what? I know stress is not going to end because life is stress, so I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah.
It's like, where do you get off? Other animals can't point a gun at their head. They can't build a gun.
They don't have thumbs.
Yeah.
That's why. They're the fucking thumbs.
Exactly. Yeah. I wonder how many other animals would commit suicide.
All of them. All of them. If they fucking knew how and they were sure it would work, they don't want to be lame and just lay there hungrier because it's going to take an extra fucking
Oh,
week.
she won't fuck me. I'll try again.
I got
Just kill
one
yourself.
wing now. I'm even worse off than I was. At least I could fly.
Yeah, dude.
No.
I've watched lots of fucking Nature's Metal clips on
Bro,
Instagram.
it's
you'll
impossible.
You'll
It's
just
so
see
hard.
an antelope missing the left side of its head. 'Cause an
Dude.
alligator or a fucking lion ate it
Yeah.
off, and it's just walking, trying to live.
Yeah.
No human has that kind of will to live.
Except for that
we will
one
kill
guy.
ourselves.
That one guy on YouTube now with that
if you don't
blown
get
up
the job
face.
you want, some people end it.
Dude, but then there's that kid on YouTube now with the shotgun face. You seen
Oh
that guy
my-
with that
I
big
saw it
elephant
recently.
face?
I saw it recently.
He needs to try
He
again.
should try it again. I
Brothers,
can't. I mean,
brothers.
yeah, dude. Listen, man. Listen, I appreciate being alive like anybody else, but I know it's just a temporary state of being.
I know.
And if that guy didn't like his life enough to try that,
Thank you.
and blow his face off and
Yeah.
still live,
Yeah.
one, I would love to interview him because I want to know why he wants to live more
Yeah.
now. Because life sucks. Life sucked before you mangled yourself.
Yes.
it can't be any better now.
Yes.
You know?
Thank you.
Like,
You said-
listen, it takes a lot for me every day to keep.
honestly,
to
and you
keep
got
putting
both your eyes right where they belong.
I got both my. I got a lot
Symmetry.
going for me. You know,
Yeah.
I'm fucking. You know, I'm doing what I love.
got
I
a
have,
whole
I have a
head.
job that pays for me. I have family that loves me. People that love me. I have reasons to put my feet on the ground, and it's still hard as an existential thought to keep moving forward every day. This guy has. He can't
got
see.
bubble gum. He's got a bubble gum head.
His head
looks like
is
a
just
fucking
gone.
like a Charms blow pop.
Yeah, I mean, he's literally putting the mic on his throat. Like he's doing. I don't know how he talks, and he finds a way to live. And I'm like, and that's what I think. I'm like, all right, wait a
People
minute.
love attention because now he gets more attention than ever. He's
That
the
might be
only
the reason.
shotgun head who's
That-
running around blowing up on YouTube.
That might be the reason.
It's
this
gotta be
This
it.
whole segment's gonna get banned. on
It's
YouTube.
all as it should because it's too much truth.
Yeah.
We're telling too much truth, baby. You listen to this, you change your whole fucking life.
Yeah, exactly. You'll try to kill yourself and then look at the shotgun face.
Well, you quit your job at least. Dude, how about the other guy? Did you ever see
Let me ask you guys. Listen, you guys are men, right? You guys have both thought
today?
Well, let's take it from
Snitch.
today.
Yeah.
We can only start with today.
Yeah.
But you guys, let's be honest. You guys have both thought as men at some point in your life
Yeah.
about ending it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, do we have to give an exact most recent time?
No. Yeah, I know the most
Chalkboard in
recent
the
time.
bathroom. This many days since I've thought of killing myself.
Yeah.
He ain't hitting double digits.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
They have gone longer without an accident at a fucking butcher shop
But this is-
on the east side than I
Exactly.
have without.
Exactly. No, but this is the point I'm trying to make. It's like, it is. I'm here to tell you, it's totally normal, especially as a man in Western society, to think about, like, you know, oh, what if I just kill myself and end it?
Yeah.
Because, and you can throw it on the floor.
Yeah,
There's a couple. But that's the thing. Like, it's not abnormal. Like,
No, it's reasonable.
I think it's why American dudes now, and especially in movies, are obsessed with the character. It's like, how can my character figure out a way to kill himself for the greater good?
Yes.
Like, I
Yes.
did
Yeah.
this and I saved in a self-sacrifice.
Yes. Yeah.
Everyone wants to go out that.
Yeah, I want to make sure I
everyone
die.
wants to kill
That
themselves as
ball-
a hero. They all want to be Tom Hanks on the bridge.
I can make a
in
decision
Saving Private Ryan, right?
Yeah.
in 2 seconds, and then I'll be remembered forever and not have to deal with any more shit.
Yeah.
All
Press
I'm
reset.
out.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, it's totally normal as a man to think that. It's not abnormal.
No.
Like, and it's part of the problem. Like, I think it's healthy to think about it. I don't want anyone to do it.
Sure.
But at some point, men and women, anyone who's coming of age, especially, and this is what I thought about at first. You know, when you're 15, 16, you're like, what the fuck? Like, is this it? Like, is this what life is?
Yeah.
Like,
And that's why I don't understand why the cops couldn't go into the school in Uvalde. You're telling me not one of those cops
Mike's on
wanted
with
to
it.
get shot in the face?
Yeah.
Come
Come
on.
on, they're fucking cops.
You met a cop's wife? Not one of them? Not one of them was just tired of going home?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Cops are secret cowards.
You could have got three
No,
of those
and
guys
not
to take
all
their
of them,
vest
not-
off.
Vest
Yeah,
off.
exactly. Yeah, not all of them, but
No
a lot
gun.
of them. They want
Just a Rambo knife in his teeth.
They want to pretend to be the hero, but they don't actually behave like the
No,
hero.
no, they don't know how.
Yeah,
They probably don't
but
know
that's
how.
the thing. It's
but I
not,
like where you're going.
it's not abnormal to think that. What's abnormal is to think you don't think that. You know, like, it's like, yeah, we've all been in the. But then, but what I find, the way you get out of it in my mind is, you think of reasons why you're better off not. It's like oh, this whole thing, I won't be the hero. I'd rather run into Uvalde and have him kill me than me kill me, because then at least I tried to be courageous, right? Or I'm not gonna let so and so beat me. That has kept a lot of men alive for millennia.
Why do you think old men are walking around shopping malls in circles doing exercise?
Exactly. I'm
They're
gonna
waiting for their fucking moment.
Exactly.
Man,
I'm gonna live because my father hates me, so fuck him. Like whatever. Yeah. Or my wife's being like men will live beyond their desired length to stick it to somebody
as a vendetta,
else. Spite.
As a spite.
And this is what we got to harness as a Western culture: spite.
I think consideration of death, of suicide, even, is a vital part of life planning.
Yes.
Because if you don't,
what's it like when I die?
Well, if you don't
it's
factor,
not suicide. It's what is it like when I'm not here?
Yes, and if you don't factor, to get like metaphysical here, but if you don't consider that there's a life before and after, thus a through line of this life, which is greater than just this life,
that's all we got.
then you think this is it.
Yeah.
How do you make a single decision? How do you fucking go to a dumb job when you're like, I gotta see Italy? Jesus Christ, how many fucking dead?
Yeah.
I gotta try every food. I gotta fuck every chick. That you have to consider.
Paul,
a life
I'm not a
beyond
religious
this.
guy anymore. I was raised Catholic like you, Roseberry. I'm sure you're fucking
I
Irish
spent
Catholic.
some time in the
whole
Catholic
thing.
church. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we all did, and then we all left.
Yeah.
What's funny to me is people who our age who are still in it. Like I got grown up in it.
Yeah, they were pedos.
I get grown up in it, but I don't get staying in it.
No.
But that's the thing. Like I consider it, and then I'm like, well, the honor of living is that honor. You know, like to live despite difficulty creates its own purpose of living. You know,
to live despite
There was a physicist. I think it was Brian Greene, who I was because I love
the guy with the stroke, the 48 Laws of Power.
No. Brian Greene. There's Brian Greene, Brian Cox, and Brian Greene's a writer.
Yeah.
Brian Cox is a physicist, and Brian Greene's another physicist.
Okay.
One's American, one's British, but it was Brian Greene and Brian Cox, and they asked him like, "What's the purpose of life?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Well, the purpose is to give it meaning." He's like, so in my mind, like, well, you know, if I roll over and take it, and if I roll over and kill myself, then they win. Who's they? I don't know who they is. But in my mind, it's like, well, let's, you know, it hurts, but I can keep going. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Fuck them. Fuck them. It's well, it's like most achievements in my life. It's not about what I want. It's about fuck you telling me I can't do so or say so or live beyond it. You know, I think most of my achievements in life have been about spite. Actually, I'm convinced all of them are.
Well, all right. Consider, because I can't live just to fuck the other guy over. I'm not against that.
No, I don't.
It's
I'm not fucking anyone else over. I'm talking about they think they can get over on me.
That's what I'm saying.
Fuck you. I'm not gonna let it happen.
I wouldn't leave without crossing that off.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. For sure. I'm with you. I will do that.
The vendetta goes a long way.
No problem. But all right, one day it hit me. I was like, all right, here's a kind of a trippy thought. What if life? All right, what if each of us? I'm trying to remember this. Okay, this is fun shit.
Let's go for it.
All right, so what if life is this? What if each of us, we're all in a class? This is VR, right?
Yeah.
We're all, this world is VR. But what if actually each of us is in a class of creating a world, right? And throughout the whole semester, we're all like, we start talking shit. Some people don't, some people do. Maybe you and I are shit talkers. We're all shit talkers. And we're like, oh, my world's going to be the fucking bomb. It's going to be the best world. Wait till you see my world. All your world's going to be stupid. Wait till you fucking see my...
Like Donald Trump.
But the final is, you got to sit in the chair. You got to put on the VR
and live the life.
And all your classmates are going to stand around watching you in the chair.
Okay.
And while you're in the life, if you like it, that's your grade.
Yeah.
And if you're sitting there being, fuck this world, the government is stupid, all these people are terrible,
you wrote it yourself.
Money's a fucking demon, all this shit, I hate this place. Boom. F.
Yeah.
F. That's your flunk. If you don't like the life that you create, that's your grade. But if you do,
that's spoken as a true life coach.
That's your grade. You know what I mean?
Like as a true life coach, Paul, because that's at the end of the day, we all live the life in our heads.
Yes.
Like, because at the end of the day, like, shit happens. It's your reaction to it.
100%.
You know, and I learned that watching happy people, because I'm a very cynical guy by nature.
Yeah.
I'm like, when's the other shoe gonna drop? Who's pissing?
Even when you say happy people, like, ugh.
Yeah, it's like you guys are fucking suckers.
Yeah,
I honestly,
saps.
I think of generally like baseline happy people who think the best.
Yeah.
Optimistic people, I think they're suckers.
Yeah.
And that's might be a mental flaw of mine. I mean, they might be
Well,
right.
it's very rare for it to follow a truth test.
No, but I'm open to the idea that I might be wrong and they might be right.
There you go.
But I can't believe that they think like that. Like, because my mind doesn't, like, my mind is not naturally optimistic.
Yeah.
I plan for the worst. I assume people are cynical. I behave in ways to protect myself from these things.
Yes.
But sometimes I've been wrong a lot and in big ways. And I'm like, fuck, maybe they're right. You never know. You never know. But I'd rather take my position than theirs because I feel like mine is more, not only historically and empirically, but ecologically safer. In that, I was talking about this in the last podcast episode with Jeremy, who we were talking about outside. If you assume the worst and it doesn't happen, you'll live as a species.
Sure.
But if you assume the best and it doesn't happen, you will not live as a species.
You're exposed. You're
Yeah,
fucked.
you're exposed. You're
totally
exposed to the
fucked.
risk.
Yeah.
But I envy people who can see the positive, and I have to fight for that.
Yeah.
And there's a balance in that. I mean, like those people. That's why people who take people take chances because they have that optimistic spirit. I don't have to force myself, but at the same time, on a downside scenario, I'm going to be fair better off than them. But there's always a balance in that. But how do you balance that? I mean, because like I said, you're in addition to being a comedian, you're fucking, you're a life coach, you're a fucking relationship coach. How do you balance that, especially in a relationship?
Understanding your why.
Okay.
Understanding your why. I mean, just like we talk about, like if you factor into your planning, or I could die. Like realistically, I don't have to be here. And it sounds crazy, or I could fucking die. There are tall buildings, there are fast buses. We could all leave tomorrow, today, in 10 minutes. But you go, okay, so I don't do that.
Yeah.
Why? It's the most empowering question you could ever ask. Why?
The why is a hard question.
But the answer is because I choose not to. Okay, now we're talking. Not because my parents said I can't, not because my religion said I can't, not because I have to be here, not because I'm afraid of what's on the other side. I'm not afraid of what's on the other side. I'm here because the most empowering feeling you could have, because I feel like this is something to do. If you go spiritually, physics, there is no time outside of this place that we can be aware of. It's all infinite fucking whatever.
Yeah, well, the time in the universe we live in is all the same.
It's all relative to this place.
Yeah.
This is like a casino. Life is like a casino. As soon as you walk into a casino, there are no windows, there are no clocks, and you trade in the currency that is valuable outside of the casino for currency that's only valuable inside the casino.
Yeah, we live in
so
this universe
life
only.
is a fucking casino.
Yeah.
So why kill yourself inside of the casino? It means you don't want to play any of the games, which is fine. If you don't play any of the games, we all leave the casino at some point. But why do you walk in?
Yeah.
Because you want to play something, whether it's a fucking slot, a blackjack. Once you realize you're here at will because you chose to be here, then it's all your call.
Yeah, man.
And the
Yeah,
loss is
that's
only
deep.
equivalent
Dude,
to what you fucking ante.
That's deeper than you think because that really is it. It's like once you realize the game that there's a game being played and it's not it's an existential game. It's not a literal game. But once you realize like I'm part of it, it's like, well, I don't know how it's going to end, so why would I end it myself? I don't know the next. I don't know the next card being dealt.
You don't know.
The next card being dealt might be my blackjack,
dude.
But it might be the bullet, that I was asking for and didn't want.
You don't know what's behind door number 2.
Yeah.
Like if you think about it, you ever left a movie that sucked?
Oh, yeah.
Right? We've all been to movie theater. Now
Yeah.
think about a movie's kind of like life. It's dark like outer space. You got this one point of focus, which is the movie screen, and it's a world that you're immersed in while that becomes your point of focus. This is where I'm living. I'm a fly on the wall watching this scenario.
Yeah, this is the reality I'm
That's
viewing
the reality I'm in.
from my voyeur perspective. Yeah.
And if you decide after a little bit, this has no plot, I don't like the arc, I don't like the characters, this is directed, like, you know what? Fuck this movie. And you get out and walk out, you're not a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're a movie connoisseur.
Yeah.
You go to a restaurant and the food tastes like shit.
Yeah.
You go, you know what? I'll pay the bill and I'm out of here. I'm going to go eat somewhere else. You're not a
What
bitch.
you didn't do in that scenario is kill yourself.
But
You just said, I don't like this relationship. I don't like this
But
moment.
that
I don't like
is-
this construct of my life. My life's not going
Right.
where I want in this moment, so I'm out.
But I'm
I don't
saying-
say, you know what, this movie sucks. Bang. It's like this movie sucks. I'm going to get up and change my life.
Well, but what I'm saying is that if you could become that comfortable and that fearless about leaving a place that if you absolutely have determined with clarity, this place is completely fucking whack.
Yeah,
You
it's
have
not
no,
for me. Yeah.
What if you kill yourself here and you wake up and it's a bunch of people in the dopest party? They're like, hey, you figured it out. Earth was stupid. Oh, everyone stays. Hey,
Yeah.
welcome to the party. You want to do some real shit? Here's some fucking coke and what? Like, what if it's the coolest party and like, yeah, we don't have that insecurity shit here anymore.
Yeah,
that
no
was all
Instagram
this
here.
Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like once you get cool with that and you decide to stay anyway, then it's all yours. I think another key is that you've got to not let this place tell you what you're worth.
Yes.
And you believe it.
Yes.
As long as you come in here just the same way you don't go into a casino and bet with this month's rent.
Yeah.
You don't fucking do it. It's
But
a good
how does
movie.
But how does that work? How does that work for you now? Having a daughter and having having someone to take care of, like, because that changed your focus, right? I mean, like,
It does.
It's no longer about you, Paul. It's about like, all right, what do I do to keep her alive? To teach her everything I've learned in this lifetime.
I look forward to that. I'm excited.
Okay, because that terrifies me.
Well, here's the thing. I remember when we were like 7-8 months pregnant and we're switching.
We're going we on this. With
Yeah,
she.
yeah, because I'm a modern, I'm a Renaissance man.
Yeah,
you know what I
because
mean?
you
My
fucking
wife
paid for it.
Well, and well,
Yeah, it was
because
half my money, so it's half my baby.
yeah, but I'm the one just carrying off the coattails. She carried that shit. Her
Yeah.
body was all kinds of fucked up,
Yeah.
and I'm just sitting
when
there.
you say we, the royal we.
Yeah. But as we started to convert the office to like a nursery and shit, and I'm thinking like, we're doing all these changes for a stranger.
Yeah, you might not like the baby.
I don't know. She might not like me. This is just another human. I own my dog. Whatever the fuck I want to do with that dog,
Yeah,
that's
but even
my
your
dog.
dog has a personality.
No, it does.
Right.
But I'm saying that like I tell that dog sit the fucking. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
what's gonna happen. Now I could be a piece of shit and be a horrible person.
You
and
can't treat a dog like a human like a dog. Yeah.
it's gonna have autonomy.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
person will make decisions on their own
Yeah.
based on their impression of me. And so you're like, fuck, dude. Like this is kind of a border. This is like a roommate who doesn't pay. You know what I mean? This is just a person, some
Yeah.
chick. I don't know
Some
her.
strange, you allowed a person in your home that you don't know how they're going to act.
I don't know her,
and you have to
dude.
wait several years before you find out who they are.
A lot of years of
several years.
investment. I gotta fucking pay for her
I
to
mean,
learn
they
to
start
read.
talking at 3,
Yeah.
and they start, and they don't have any actual like high level thought until they're like 12.
Oh,
Right,
which
so
I'm
you-
gonna try sooner. But
you got to wait a decade before whether or not you like the person.
if the investment was good.
Yeah, right. It takes 10 years to find out whether or not you like your kids.
Dude, it's kind of a long con.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is. It's kind of the long
It's the
con.
longest. It's the longest con ever
It's the
pulled.
longest con there
It's a
is.
genius move.
But if I play the double long con, then she becomes my retirement. And
Yeah,
so
that is.
and I'm out before it ends. She's still here and I'm gone.
Paul, I love that you brought that up because it's the only reason that I've ever had anyone bring up to me during the podcast that gave me pause about having kids.
Yeah.
It was
Because you're from New England.
I'm
That's
from
how we
fucking
used
New
to
York.
do it.
Well, you know
yeah,
who it
yeah,
was?
East Coast.
Zach Brazow. You know Zach Brazow.
Yeah.
I would. So I've not, dude. I started comedy at 33. So
Yeah.
I've been beyond childbearing age,
Yeah.
fatherly
Yeah,
age,
yeah,
since I started
yeah.
this shit.
Yeah.
Fucking, I'm 9 years in now. I'll be 42 in May.
Fucking A.
And
Congrats. Coming up.
fucking 5 years ago, Zach Brazow, who just like made a final at the Boston Comedy Festival. I had him on.
Nuts for nuts.
Yeah, and he's like,
That's his,
he's Zach Brazow.
He's very funny. I haven't seen him
Yeah,
in years.
very funny
He's
guy.
very
Probably
funny.
12 years younger than me. So I was probably 37. He's probably 25.
Yeah.
And he's very Portuguese and very Catholic.
Okay.
Like still religious Catholic.
So he might have qualms on some of this convo.
Oh yeah.
Wow, he like holds on to it.
Yeah, no, he does. It's all good. Don't worry about it. Pour me some while you're at it.
There we go.
Yeah. So I asked him. So I was like, "You want to have a family?" He goes, "Oh yeah." He goes, "Why?" I was like, "Sell me on that." He goes, "Oh, dude, I'm selfish. My grandmother lives with my family now. I don't want to live in a home. I want to have kids, so they take me into their home."
Yeah.
And I said, "Zach, that is the first explanation for having kids.
Yeah.
That I think made personal sense to me."
Yeah.
He's like, "I love my kids. I'd love to have a family." He's like, "But more importantly, I don't want to be in a home. I want to live in their home.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm taking in my grandparents. My parents. I'm taking in them. They're gonna. My kids will take me in. It's a Portuguese tradition." And I'm like, "That sounds like a good trade."
But you know what though?
He's like, "My kids are my retirement," and I'm like, "That's a good trade." That's the only explanation for having kids that made sense to me.
But I think I'll still want my autonomy. You know what I mean? I think I hope to be
Oh,
financially in a good place.
You're still gonna be her parent. That's the thing about
For
it.
sure, but
Yeah.
I would at least want like an in-law apartment. I want to have my
Oh
own
yeah. Well, her grandmother,
legacy
his
going
grandmother,
on.
she lives either above the garage or in the basement. She's making sauce.
Yeah, somewhere on
Like
the
an Italian
compound.
grandma.
On the
Yeah,
compound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, and I mean, dude, think about it. Like, I had good reasons to not have kids because Chelsea and I were in an interesting situation. As I
What,
say,
you're gay and she's not?
it's bi, Randy. I fucked a woman.
BIPOC.
Unless she turns out to be a man later,
Yeah.
and then we're
He's
totally
bi
gay.
and she's a person of color.
Oh my god! And I'm Tupac. That's what it was. That's how we're BIPOC. Dude, she wanted to have kids. I was willing,
That's all you need.
but that's two different. That's two different mindsets.
But did you lay down the law on her and say, "All right, you want him? I'll be willing, but I'm not doing X, Y, or Z." You lay that down.
After.
Smart. Yeah, babe, whatever you want. Oh, and then once you got pregnant, oh, by the way, I'm not doing this.
Bruh.
No, I told you.
It's not
So
until
you pulled the retrade, which is smart.
bro. Yeah, the renege, dude.
Yeah.
Renege. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
Not with an I, with an E.
Nope. It's like 12 Years a Slave Part 2. No, it's no, it was awkward because you don't understand what fucking Vietnam emotional existence having a baby is, and then you're like, because I said it to her today. I don't really like kids. Like I don't, and like I love mine more now than I did 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But dude, even as a kid,
She won't listen to this.
I didn't want to hang with kids.
Yeah.
I'm like, the fuck do you know? You don't know anything.
when
I want
was
to
a
hang out
kid-
with adults.
When
I
I
want
was
to learn
a kid,
shit.
I hated kids.
Exactly.
I felt like you were.
I don't
want to
play board games with
I felt
morons
like
my
when I was a
age.
kid, I felt like other kids were stupid, and I don't want to talk to them.
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them. I
Yeah.
want to
But
hang
I
out
was
with
a
someone
weird
3,
kid.
4, 5 years old.
But I
I
also
want
knew
to
I was a
learn.
weird kid.
So was I.
Yeah.
Dude, I was a fat kid. I fucking stuttered.
No, I had a
I
mouth
was
on me.
vegetarian.
I had a mouth on me.
Really? No. Come on.
I didn't say a lot.
When did the change happen, Randy?
No, if I knew something was right, I would not let it. I would die on hills. Dude,
I did that in class, dude.
I was the best. I was valedictorian. I'm not bragging.
Good for
here.
you. Get the fuck
I was
out
at
of here.
middle school and high school.
Randy the brain.
The whole time.
The whole time. Junior, middle school, and high school.
And this is New York City in the 80s and 90s when the Chinese kids came in.
Wow.
And the Chinese
your
kids were good
school's
at
probably
math.
had 2,500 kids. Probably some
Like
fucked
3,000 kids. Yeah, 3,000 kids.
Stop this shit.
And I was better than math, which is like it's not
Then
a racist
Asians?
thing. Yeah, this is not a racist thing. This is back.
You're not Dominican, kid. You're fucking you're from Chiang Mai or some shit. Yeah.
No, but I never subscribed to that, and I would start problems if I thought something was right.
Yeah.
I go to the matches. Like, they're fucking wrong.
Me too.
You know, and but that makes you. But living through that makes you fucking. It makes you start challenging. Like, everyone's fucking bullshitting you. Everyone's having an angle.
Yeah.
You know, and they wanted to get me on their side. Like, oh yeah, we got to shut Randy up because we need him to get.
Did they start judging your? They judge you based on your opinions?
No.
I got some of that.
No, they didn't. They didn't judge me on that. They sided with me because they wanted to present me as a reason to get funds in, to get investment.
This is like in junior high. We are fucking crazy, bro. This is like a prodigy over here.
No. I'm not a. Well, this is the start of what now are called. They were called magnet schools back in the day. Now they're
Charter schools.
charter schools.
Yeah. Oh, so you were in one of those?
I was one of the first in New York City.
God damn it! I went to public school, and I'm in
You know,
New
so did I.
Hampshire.
This was a public school.
Okay.
But back then it was a public-private partnership. So half of the school's funding was from private organizations.
Yeah.
From one big banker specifically, I won't say his
bought
name,
nice and
and the other half was from the government. So, but because they use me as a funding source.
Oh, the school, not your peers. The
No, the
school. You
school.
were an
The
example
school
of
did.
the success of this
school did.
model
The
of
school
school.
did.
I
Yeah.
see.
The school
Okay,
did.
I thought you were saying that the arguments you would make in class, your student, because dude,
No.
I would get in arguments in class that like I stood by. I remember one time I got labeled a piece of shit, and I would stand
Oh
by
no,
it today.
the teachers would hate me. The thing, I would go to war with teachers because I knew that.
Yes.
I knew the funding was coming because I would show up and unlike the Asian kids, I
You
could speak
were
English.
aware of the infrastructure of your fucking
no, it was
institution.
it was. Listen, man, they put a kid fucking who was raised on the street with the mafia in a school where they're like, hey, well, we'll use you for this. And as soon as I found out leverage, the problem was
Wait, the kid in the street was you?
yeah,
You were raised around mafia?
yeah,
Randy.
yeah.
I'm like late to the game. I'm sure your listeners already have all this
No,
stuff.
we all did. So were you. You were raised in New England. I mean,
Yeah.
listen, you're over 40 years old.
I am.
You know, I mean, the 80s, the 90s, this is, organized crime was still a thing.
Yeah.
But the big thing was just the teaching of leverage. Like, I knew they needed me to raise more money.
Yeah.
So I had my own agenda. And if their thing coincided with my thing, I'd make a fucking beef.
Yeah.
And it worked. And they would.
What was an example of a beef? Did you have like a fun beef? Was there one that stood out to you that was?
Oh yeah, I'll tell you
fucking
what.
went to bat?
I don't know if I've ever told this in the podcast.
Let's hear. I love these.
It'll be 10 years in 2027. So we're 8 years in.
Okay.
9 years. 10 years next year. Yeah.
I'm not going to judge your math on everything else you've said thus far. I'm not.
So one of the biggest beefs I had was, so I was a junior, and that's when you apply for college, right?
Yeah.
And I was.
If you want to go.
Yeah, if you want to go. and it was a New York City public school, but it was half funded by a big investment bank by the guy who founded it. I won't say
The
his
college?
name. Yeah.
Okay.
I won't say his name.
Sure.
But
We can figure it out.
yeah, it was a big guy.
Yeah.
So this school had 800 kids. Half of it was funded by a guy in his investment bank, and the other half was funded publicly. And
The college?
the high school. It was a high school. It was a
okay,
high
okay,
school.
yeah.
But we were applying to college.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know if you meant the college you're
This is our
applying to.
college you're applying
Okay.
junior year.
Yeah.
And I started applying to colleges. I applied to 11 colleges. I got into 10.
Good for you.
I applied to 3 Ivy League schools. Only one of them rejected me. No, they didn't reject me. They put me on the waiting list.
You went to Brown.
Yeah.
What was the other school that said yes?
So Dartmouth and Brown let me in. Princeton put me on the wait list.
Wow.
Yeah. But
Dartmouth's a big deal too.
But yeah, I know. And I didn't know this.
Could have gone, dude. I know.
No,
I'm
I
familiar.
didn't learn this until I left New York.
Yeah,
It was all new to me. But one of the guys who convinced me that I was worth applying to these Ivy Leagues, I didn't think I would get in.
Critical. Yeah.
So I was evaluated. I was the highest scoring kid in school for many years. They knew it was
Fucking
a
Randy
foregone
the Brain. Look at you.
Nah,
dude.
listen, I'm not that smart. I just know how to play the game. Like I can take a test.
That's EQ, whatever you want to call it.
Well, that's what I say.
Yeah.
I call it applied intelligence.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm smart
I like
enough. Is the test tomorrow? Yep. I'll ace it and then forget it. Like I'm not
Done.
I don't retain it.
But you get the game.
Yeah, I was playing the game. But one of these kids was the student body president. His name was JP. I won't say his last name.
Yeah.
And our English teacher, and I'll say her fucking name.
Bitch.
Yeah. Miss Couder. Miss Couder was our English teacher, but she was also the college advisor.
Uh-huh.
And I applied to Brown and to Dartmouth and to Princeton. And she was like, oh, yeah, you want to take a chance? Yeah. And I got into 2 out of the 3.
Yeah.
And I heard she told JP, who was our class president, who didn't have as good a score as I was, but was a talented kid.
President, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I want to try and apply to Harvard. And she said in front of our AP English class, don't bother, they won't let you in. And I stood up and I said, you fucking bitch.
Yeah.
Your job is to push his papers, not tell him what he can't do.
Wow.
And she goes, how dare you? Goes to the principal. She sent me to the principal's office. And I did.
Wow.
I went to the
Good for you.
And I went to the principal's office and I said, that fucking cunt is what I said to him.
Yeah.
I'm quoting myself. I said, that fucking cunt told one of our students in this school that he can't. And her only job is to fucking push the paper and give him a chance. I was like, what kind of teachers do you want at this high school?
Good for you.
Who would tell a student they can't? Let the university tell him.
Yeah.
Let the university reject them. Right?
Dude.
And this
Randy V going
dude,
to bat.
and we went to war. She was like, I want him out, blah, blah, blah. And I said, fuck you. I'm withdrawing from the school because they were using me to fundraise money.
Wow.
My grandmother, God bless her cookie, she's like, I'll pay for you to go to Catholic school if you want to go to a decent school here in Queens, whatever.
Yeah.
And
Get the rulers.
Yeah. They called my mother, the whole thing. My family stood behind me. The assistant principal stood behind me. They made her apologize to JP in front of the class.
Oh,
and I was right.
Randy,
no, I was morally right.
This is a movie. It's like some Good Will Hunting
teacher,
shit.
How dare you?
I agree.
Tell a student
100%.
he can't do something
No.
or she can't do
That's
something.
terrible.
Teachers, take a chance.
100%.
Let the school let the
100%.
school reject you.
Wow.
I went to war with this thing.
When
and I
she apologized, did she have to show her tits? Because that's honestly, she should have been naked in front of, you know what I mean?
No
like,
one wants to. But you know,
but that's why she should have to show him because no one wants to see him. That's a
you
fucking
wanna know
more
what's best,
bearing.
Paul? So 3 years later, after 5 years later, I just started working on Wall Street, and I was still with this girl I was dating from college.
Yeah.
it was my first year out of college, and I'm having lunch at a nice restaurant, or like on a Sunday afternoon, on the Upper West Side, and Miss Couder was walking by.
Yeah, she's right there.
She's walking by,
And
and she can't afford to eat the restaurant I'm sitting at with this girl. I'm fucking 22 years old.
Yeah,
you know,
she can't afford them apples.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
And she walks by, and she gave me the mea culpa. Then she goes, "You're right. I'm sorry." I'm like, "All right."
Wow.
And she was walking by with her dog, and I'm in there in a restaurant she can't afford. And I'm like, "Yeah." So stop being a fucking bitch.
That's a short film. Like you could, no, honestly, we live in Hollywood now. That's not a subtle, like quick little snippet.
The problem is I'm not dark black. I have to be, you know.
You know what? With the proper
a white
lighting,
guy telling a white woman to stop being a bitch doesn't
Will
play
Smith isn't even black, and he tells a lot of stories as Ali.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, dude, I like
shout
that
out Miss
story.
Couder for saying you're sorry.
Yeah, and thank you to her for creating the opportunity for Randy to shine like a fucking
No,
beacon.
but that kid went on to he didn't
to
get
be a janitor. He killed himself 2 years later, and he didn't believe it because she ruined him.
He went on into, I think he went into state politics in New York. Yeah, he's all right.
Wow.
The kid turned out, but that's what I'm saying. Like the idea that that's one of my things about adults, man. And I think you being a self-conscious guy, will make you a good parent.
Yeah, self-awareness goes a long way.
Yeah,
humility.
I think I feel like kids are born perfect, and all of their hang-ups adults put on them. Like
they're a blank hard drive.
That's what I'm saying.
Now that I've had a baby, they're a blank hard drive.
This.
There's nothing on their hard.
But if you start telling kids you can't, you won't, you shouldn't.
Oh, for sure.
It limits
their
their
bubble
ideas.
gum. No, remember when you take Silly Putty and
Yes.
you roll it across the fucking comics?
The newspaper.
And and then you have that's the comic. That's a baby's brain.
Yeah.
It's 100% that.
That's a great analogy.
I think that's it. We can do something with that. We can say there's our second movie. There's number 2. Randy becomes a comic.
No, but that's the thing, man. Like you fucking. You limit a kid, and they could do. I mean, human beings have done extraordinary things,
especially in the last 200 years, like you said.
Yeah,
like it was kind of nothing until then.
Don't believe we could.
Yeah,
I mean, the fucking JFK is like, oh, you know, we can't go to the moon. We'll see.
Guess what? Call it Stanley Kubrick. You don't even have to, but
maybe they call
like
it fake. But at least they faked it well.
At least they faked it well. Dude,
I think that's bullshit.
What's that?
The
fake?
I like a good conspiracy theory, but that's one doesn't hold true because Russia was looking. We were in the space race with them. If we didn't make it there, they would have shown the world we didn't.
But that was the motivation for the conspiracy theorists who say we didn't go, because if we lost to Russia, then the economic shift would have been. They would have been the superpower.
If we didn't go, they have satellite. They would have said they didn't.
They would have figured out
Here's
that we
evidence.
didn't. Yeah.
Trust me.
I mean, plus, also, have you ever seen their cars? They're dumb. You know what I mean? They're not gonna. What the fuck? You think the Russians are gonna beat us, but just because they're white? Get the fuck out of here! Are you nuts, dude? They don't know anything.
The Russians got away with a lot. Once that empire fell, we're like, wait, we were racing against nothing.
Against nothing. That's what the Wizard of Oz was all about. Yeah. Is about what was behind the Iron Curtain.
Dude,
nothing.
To this day, they still can't beat Ukraine,
dude.
It's been 3 years. They can't.
It's forever, man.
They can't beat a country they already took over twice,
dude.
It's pretty sad. Russia,
yeah.
You're fucking whack.
Yeah,
Putin,
we weren't
smell my balls.
We were, but
let me comment. He can still hit out of me. Yeah,
he doesn't care. But did you ever hear also? I don't know if it's true. Supposedly there was a micro space race. Like when we were trying to get to space, there was a logistics race of like how to pull it off, where we couldn't figure out how to make a pen that would work in a gravity-free environment. Did you ever hear this?
Oh well, they made a whole fucking Jerry Seinfeld episode about it. Didn't
The
they?
Russians used a pencil.
Bah!
Is that what they did?
Yeah, they used a pencil, dude. We were idiots. We were over trying.
That's the American way.
Yeah,
that's the American way. It's like how do we invent a pen that works in space? Like, well, graphite pencil.
Yeah, graphite, dude. Dude, I'll tell you though. All right, so when you were saying, I mean, your story's like fucking amazing about the standing up.
No, it's
not
that amazing. I'm saying, but the thing, my story about that is just a typical thing that students go through, because I feel like kids get fucking told what they can't do, not what they can do.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Like, dude, it's an underestimation of children as people. Like you're really selling kids short because they're just going to be adults like every one of us.
Well, dude, and actually, all right, as two comics, we'll get into the bigger thing because I went to a school, I got bullied to fuck. I got bullied so bad because I was a fat kid, we were poor.
They started talking shit about me, so I had to lift weights and got angry.
Dude, I was freakishly tall, so I could kick these kids' asses.
That's the funny. I was freakishly little,
it didn't
and I started
feel
lifting
right.
weights till I got fucking, my neck got so thick, they got scared of talking to
I
me.
wish you would have called me. I would have shown up and gone with you. I just sat home and ate. I just ate fucking Little Debbie's.
I was the little jacked kid who was smart. They're like, well, we can't say anything.
Yeah.
Dude, go. My listeners, go back and listen to the first History Hyenas that Jeff Dye was ever on, and and Chris DiStefano explains what kind of kid I was.
Dude, I'll have to check it out.
He was a guy who was really smart and he was really jacked. No one can say shit. Like he was little and he was fucking jacked and he was intimidating.
I was convinced, don't stand out. That was the message I got from the other kids because they would fucking attack you, these pieces of shit. And all I wanted, dude, all right, you want to hear some weird psychological shit? So I played Little League for 2 years, ages 11 and 12. Biggest kid in the league. There was one other kid who was my height.
Right? But growth spurts, right? I mean, what are you, 6 foot tall now?
Yeah.
Back then,
I was a freak. I was
going to be 6'11", yeah.
But do you know what my batting average was? Combined batting average for ages 11 and 12, 2 years combined. What do you think it was? Take one guess.
I'm going to go 225.
0.
Wow.
I batted 0. Wow. 0. Really? I never got a hit. I batted every game, sometimes twice.
Different.
The reason, though, was because I wasn't playing baseball. I was playing social politics. All I wanted, and I didn't know it at the time.
To fit into your friends.
I just wanted a hit. I wanted a home run because I felt so fucking tiny socially. These kids would make fun of me. They wouldn't talk to me. I was the new kid. They wouldn't hang out. And I felt like such a fucking piece of shit that I was like, man, everybody loves Little League. Everyone loves baseball. It's what everyone talks about in school. If I could just hit a home run, dude, then finally I'd fit in and I could have some friends. So I wasn't looking at the ball. Yeah. I was looking at class. I'm standing at the plate thinking about, man, it'd be nice to finally.
But your
realization,
your realization of this, Paul, is what brought you to being in the matchmaking industry, into comedy. Like, it gives you understanding of relationships. Like, wait a minute, I thought relationships were this way. This is how they really are.
Yeah,
and it made you explore that. So listen, that's the thing about no one knows the impact of the thing that's happening to them down the road.
Yeah.
You know, like this negative impact is like, oh, it made you think about who you are, your relationship to the world, the relationship that everyone else has to the world. And like, I'm not alone in this. Let me explore that.
Well, even with comedy, though. So this has been a problem that I've had to understand and realize with comedy is that I've always loved comedy. Now, comedy, we could say maybe I was using it to control situations where I would otherwise be the butt of the joke. Maybe. I'm sure there was some of that. It definitely helped. But was I conscious of that at the time? Probably not. But what's happened is I've stunted my own growth as an adult in comedy where I love my writing. I really do, and there are other comics who I love. Most I don't. Like I'm a harsh critic on comedy because I really enjoy comedy.
Every comic is.
Yeah. And so the guys who I really like, and I like my shit. But when I get up for the longest time, I'd be like, I don't just have to be funny. I have to be funnier than the people who want to hate. No, the people who want to hate me. I have to assume it's the fucking 3rd and 4th grade assholes that no matter what you say, they're going to shit on you no matter how quick it was.
You're still fighting the demons from your youth.
I'm still fighting those fucking kids. And so it's not a crowd of people who are like, yeah, we're here to have a drink and we want to laugh. We want to like you.
You want to be right.
Well, no, I feel that I have to win over people who don't want to like me.
Even though they do like you,
it's subjective. You don't have to. In math, if I'm an accountant, I'm either right or I'm fucking wrong.
Yeah.
But in comedy, if you like me, you're going to laugh harder. If you don't like me, you don't have to laugh. And so even like I would go into rooms where it's people who are actually wanting to laugh. Oh, this guy seems cool. Let's enjoy him. And I'm like, these people fucking hate you. They're going to fucking shit on anything you say. You have to overcome you're in the hole by like -10.
Well, you have to dominate the crowd.
You got to say, you know what I mean? And you're already shooting from underneath.
Yeah.
So it took a while before I had to be like, wait, what the fuck am I talking?
This adversarial attitude.
And then you got to take control. Yeah. And then you just take control. And you
still have to take control of the crowd because you don't want them to rule the roost.
Well, that's how you get to control.
But you don't have to be adversarial towards them.
You can't be adversarial. And I was never adversarial. I was more just hoping. I don't know. It was a weird thing when I started to realize.
You were afraid if you didn't control, they'd be adversarial.
Well, I assumed that I couldn't get funny until I knew they liked me. And so the first 3, 4, 5 minutes
Getting
sometimes.
to like you.
Yeah, and once they start laughing, then I'm like, oh, we're all cool. And then bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
And then you start killing. But it's like, man, why'd the first 3 minutes of your tape
Yeah.
quiet and weird, and
You're
you're
wasting
acting
that time.
like my wife would know. I'd get on stage and I would do this thing sometimes. She knew when I'd get nervous when the crowd was big. At an open mic, I don't give a fuck. I'll say the funniest shit you've ever heard. But like a real room, I'm like. And
Yeah.
when I would take the mic, when the host would hand me the mic, I'd be like, you could see it was a subtle thing I didn't know I was doing, but it was like, oh, I'm terrified. I hope these people don't want to fucking hate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a weird thing.
No,
and then you
I know my
realize,
tics when I started.
Yeah.
And it was,
It's a weird thing.
Yeah, I would lean back because if I leaned forward, I was giving it to them.
Yeah.
So I'd go back towards the wall. I put my foot on the wall when I started.
Yeah, yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want like, hey, if you guys don't like it, I'm fucking hey, I'm back here, my
And-
foot up. And you see that as you get old, as you start doing it more. Like you start realizing the psychology of your head when you're in it.
Yo,
When you
yeah.
see the videos
All
of
your
yourself,
little
I'm like, why am I fidgeting in this way? Why am I leaning back instead of leaning forward?
my tone?
Talking to the crowd. Yeah.
Do I sound comfortable? Or even who was the guy? Not who was the guy that died of cancer? Bill Hicks.
Oh yeah.
He talked about
Or him or Robert Schimmel. Fucking another.
he
creep.
talked about he would go on, and the only way to feel right was to talk about whatever was on his mind that day. That's which I mean, it can be material,
Yeah.
but he didn't have a lineup that this is definitely what I'm going to say. I'm planning it a month in advance.
Yeah,
This
he
is what I'm
never
talking
set
about. Like he would go in, whatever felt right, and I'm like, man, that guy's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, no, you got to be so regimented, and it was because I was so afraid of having to overcome. Like as you get more comfortable, something happens to you in the fucking green room. You're like.
So how'd you get more comfortable with having a kid now? Like, what was that progression?
All right, so here was the thing. She's named Vienna. That's her first name.
Shout out Vienna.
Vienna.
Baby girl Vienna.
Vienna Sweet Pea.
Uncle Randy saying hi.
Uncle Randy.
There's no way he'll ever let me meet you because
100%. Yeah, once we get him tested for, whatever.
whatever it is.
And her middle name is Sweet Pea. So we decided to have fun.
Really?
Vienna Sweet Pea Roseberry.
Really sweet pea rose.
Really Sweet Pea Roseberry. We're going to have some fun.
There's no more LA name than that.
That's what people say.
Vanilla sweet pea apple.
No.
Apple xenon or whatever the
I
fuck.
went after Popeye and Olive Oil. Because that was the name of their baby. It was Sweet Pea. And so I thought it was sweet. Anyway, so the way it was, long story short, the reason she's named Vienna was because Chelsea and I we had
fucked in
planned,
Vienna?
Well, we did, and so that's we love the city of Vienna. We're on vacation in Europe,
Beautiful.
and the thing that happened in Vienna that was cool though, I used to have claustrophobia. I still do to some degree. I'm sure we all
Really?
do.
'Cause, I mean, you're a psychology. I'm sorry, I still deal with that.
But here's what happened. So we were at this amusement park, and German, Austrian amusement parks don't fuck around, dude. These are like, they're not for
Concentration
children.
camps. They're orderly.
They're hardcore. They're like, they take you to
Very
the maker.
orderly.
Yeah, dude. So I see this one ride I want to get on, and I'm like, there's no way. You're tight, the snug. That's the hardest part for me is when it's tight on your chest.
Yeah.
And you're like, I can't even breathe all the way. Anyway, I go on this roller coaster, and I leave that little bit of gap. Because I always think that's how I beat the system. I give myself that little. I puff up.
I can get out.
Yep, exactly. I can get out. Now this roller coaster, I didn't realize it goes upside down.
So I'm falling out of the roller coaster.
So as we're going up, I start to notice that
Try to
we're
pull
going
it
to go
down
upside
harder.
down. And I try, but it's a German one, and it doesn't get
It
that
locks
extra
in,
click. It's locked where it was, and I'm like,
So you're holding hard.
yeah, no, I'm like, shit, I wish I hadn't pulled my fucking move to try to outsmart safety.
Yeah.
And as we start going into it, there was just this realization of like, we're going so fast. Gravity's constant.
Yeah.
I'm out or I'm not. And I'm probably not. I can resist this.
But if you fall, you
And
fall.
I paid $12 to be on this fucking ride or some weird shit.
Yeah.
Or let's just see it. Let's just do it. Let's just attack it. Let's just fucking race head on. In my mind, let's just run like Bruce Lee at the end of Enter the Dragon when he just runs at the bullets.
When he looks just blood and
Yeah,
run.
yeah. Dude, just fucking run at it. And emotionally, I just said, fuck this. I'm not here to be afraid of falling out. I'm here to love this ride. This is what I'm doing. I've committed to it. I'm here because I wanted to be. Let's fucking do it. Let's do it. And it was the dopest fucking ride. And as soon as we were done, I was like, Chelsea, I think I just beat claustrophobia. She's like, really? I said, do you want to go again? She's like, okay. So we go again.
Nice.
And then we go on this other roller coaster that was like this weird ride that's strapped in. You go upside down, you spin around. It was terrifying me. And I'm looking at it. She's like, you sure you want to do this? I go, yes. And we get on,
yeah, I'm in the spirit.
And I just let go, dude. I just let go. And instead of fearing those bars, I'm like hanging from them. I'm spinning through the air doing 360s and I'm laughing like a kid. And she's like, I haven't seen this person ever. We met when I was 35. I'm laughing like I'm 16.
35, yeah.
Dude, I just realized sometimes it doesn't make sense to fear it. It doesn't make sense to resist. Just run at it. If you've made this decision and it's what you decided you want to do, we plan on having a kid. She wasn't an accident. Just fucking gun it. Just run straight into it. And that's all you can do. That's what we're doing.
See,
you know, it's.
I think
This comes back to men wanting to die. He figured out, if he died on the roller coaster, it's not his fault. He didn't commit suicide. No one's gonna blame anybody.
Yeah, exactly,
See?
exactly, Mike. And
Yeah.
it gives
Settlement too.
and it
for-
gives-
for the baby, so she'll have a retirement, which is what she was going to be to me.
but it also gives Paul credibility in his work because he, you look, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna be scared of this or that, but you give it a shot and see what happens.
You're doing
you've
it.
Been
It's
there.
what we're doing.
You've been there,
I've been
which
there.
goes a long way with people.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't respect anyone who hasn't lived through it. There's a big thing with, and listen, it's one of the things that I had to come to grips with in my life. It's like, you're intelligent, Randy. You read a lot,
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
You have no wisdom,
bro.
you have no context
Yeah.
of what it is that you know stuff, but what does
Life.
it mean?
Yeah.
And wisdom,
Pay dirt,
living,
you kick
yeah,
rocks.
exactly.
Yeah.
Going through it gives it meaning.
Dude, I mean, look
Living
at
through it.
This is how we get.
Yeah.
You don't get that by accident. You don't get that at birth. That ain't a birthmark. You had to fucking eat shit, bro, and pull yourself out.
Yeah,
you had to
living through it matters.
That's why.
And I think back and I'm like, yeah, everyone that made an impact on me wasn't the most talented, wasn't the most intellectual person. There were people who did it
yeah.
the whole way. My grandfather, my grandmother, and then when I got to Brown, fucking the kids who I looked up to were some of the smartest kids, but they were on, they were like, oh yeah, I have this new idea for, some sort of crazy chemical thing, and they're eating mushrooms thinking about it. Like they lived through it.
Yeah.
They went to the end, and that is way
Go
more
to the
powerful.
end. I like how you brought those two things together because that is something I struggle with. I'm 46, and there are things where, dude, I wake up. Like this morning, I wake up and I go, I can't believe 30 was 16 years ago. I turned 46 last
It feels
Friday.
like yesterday to me.
And but I
I'll be
said
42.
30,
I'll be 42 in 3 weeks. Feels like yesterday.
30 was always like, oh wow, you're 30, you're not 16 anymore. But like I'm 46, I'm like that was 16 years. Like what the fuck? And I'm realizing I need to get some shit done. And there is a correlation between what you were just saying. Fucking see it through to the end.
Yeah.
See it through to the end. And I didn't put that with the roller coaster about the idea of just fucking who cares.
Yeah, ride the ride.
Just
Ride
pile
the
drive
ride.
this thing. Just fucking cannonball. Make it happen. And there's some truth in that. That's because I have shit, dude.
But also 46 ain't the end either. Like,
It's not the end.
That's the thing. Like, the end is way farther away than you think.
You ever seen a car? You ever seen like someone who's like, oh, I've got a fucking 63 Corvette.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's in mint condition. It's got 85 miles. And you're like, that's amazing. And a little bit of you goes, that's what you did with a fucking Corvette. Are you nuts? 83 miles? You piece of shit. Get that fucking car out on the road, you asshole.
I always
You're
hate that. I
abusing
always
the
hate that,
car. Go fuck it. At least buy another one. If you're going to keep the one with 83 miles, fine.
It's like this is the thing. Like in like the late 2000s when they were still doing the what's the MTV show where they would go into your house, pimp my
Cribs?
Cribs, yeah,
Yeah.
And a hip hop artist would lick the bottom of their sneakers. Look, it's brand new. I'm like, motherfucker, why wouldn't you wear it?
Yeah.
Fat Joe, you're worth $70 million.
Yeah.
I got the newest Nikes. Look, I haven't even worn them yet. Wear them.
Wear 'em,
You're
dick.
the only one. You should be wearing them.
Come on. Especially, like
The fact that you don't wear them is disrespectful.
the fact that we haven't all heard the Martin Shkreli $2 million fucking
Yeah.
Wu-Tang album.
Yeah.
Dude, fucking just get
Exactly.
it out
That
there. Come on.
fucking jerk off.
Jesus Christ.
Where is he? Where is that fucking Shkreli?
I think he's doing fine somehow. That
He's
piece
the
of
only
shit.
Jew who left the scene. He somehow extricated himself.
I believe every big name. Like I just watched Wolf of Wall Street again yesterday because it's that good.
Yeah.
And every time I'm such a fucking frugal and dark sadistic motherfucker. Every time I see the bad guy in a movie like that I know is based in reality, even if it's not, I'm always like, tell me he got like 12 million socked away.
Yeah, Martin Shkreli made like $4.5 million and now he's hiding.
He better have it in a Swiss account. You know what I mean? Like no matter how hard you go down the public
steal
eye.
Good. I'm with you, man. I'm like, listen, if you're gonna fucking steal right. You know,
Tuck a bunch away.
This is one of the reasons why I have respect for a guy like Dick Cheney. And I'm like, Donald Trump, what are you doing, bud?
Well, Cheney had that look in his eye. He had that like.
Dick Cheney pillaged the U.S. Treasury. I mean, no one knew.
He put Bush on a marionette.
Yeah.
He was like,
Donald Trump's trying to steal quarters from an arcade game. And I'm like, buddy, call up Dick. You know, like, Dick will tell you how it's done. You know, like, do it the American way.
You know, Dick didn't have a heart for a minute?
He had 3 hearts.
Yeah, but for a while he had no pulse, which is like the definition of the devil or something.
He's the only guy to take 3 hearts off the donor list.
Wow.
3 hearts.
What a monster.
In a row.
What a monster.
Still alive.
Do you remember that smile? We all remember the smile, right?
That's what I'm saying, man. I'm like, that's like Dick Cheney's thievery was so American. I'm proud of it. You know, like,
do you ever wonder?
Like bring Donald Trump, bring your thievery to Dick Cheney level.
Yeah. Do you ever wonder, dude? Seriously, you're an ambitious guy. You're obviously very smart. Do you ever fear? Do you ever ponder that maybe what villainy might be what's holding you back? Like not just, you know what I mean? Like you look at some of the greatest villains,
all the time, Paul.
Dude, Alexander the Great. You know what that guy did? Horrible. The worst things.
Every day I live.
Genghis Khan.
Paul,
they just threw it away and just went for it.
Paul, every day I live, I wish I had started a drug conspiracy.
Yes,
I wish I'd been.
Yes,
I wish I'd been involved in a gigantic drug trafficking.
Because I'd be biggest.
I'd be so good at it.
It's not too late.
Problem is, I want to sell dick jokes. I don't want to sell cocaine. I want to sell dick jokes.
But we could do both. You remember that movie?
Cops, this is a joke.
Do you remember that, dude? You remember that movie? Sam Rockwell was in it, where the guy from the dating show, whatever, he was allegedly a host of a dating show and an international spy. You remember this? It was from like 08.
Lotus?
No,
Last week?
It was like 20 years ago. It was. You remember this?
Matchstick Men with Nicolas Cage?
No, that was another one. But no, this is Sam Rockwell. I think it was played a guy who allegedly was.
Mike's looking it up. Mike's
he really was the host of the dating show of the Newlyweds. He was a host of the Newlyweds and claimed that he was Chuck Barris.
Oh yeah.
Chuck Barris claimed that he was a TV show host, which is a successful lifestyle in and of itself. That's an achievement. And he goes, that was a ruse. To be able to be an international spy, I was killing people. I was drinking the best champagne. I was fucking the highest paid prostitutes. And as a cover, I was most people's dream of being a TV show host.
Yeah, you find it, Mikey?
No.
I believe it was Chuck Barris. I think that was it. But anyway, it was a movie that, like, a lot of people said that it was made up, and Chuck Barris was just doing this to have a movie made about him. And who knows if it's true? I don't know.
Confessions of a Dangerous Mind.
That's the one.
That's the one.
And dude, how fucking cool. Yeah, we could be comics, but also
drug lords.
Because no one will believe this comic is not even that good. Wait, he's also running like a 17,000 man fucking drug operation responsible for 800 murders per year. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, sometimes you wonder if, like, villainy, if it's, I don't even know that's the word, but like.
No, Mikey, what kind of villainy would you do if you had villainy in your blood?
Yeah.
Just too lazy for it. It's not for me.
So
would you effort?
That's the thing about villainy. It's right. To be a good criminal, you have to be on
your toes.
This is the thing that people don't realize.
You have to worry about getting gotten back.
That's what I'm saying.
That is
to be good at anything. To be the best banker or the best lawyer or the best politician, you have to be the biggest criminal. Like,
I don't sleep as it is. I feel like I'm wasting.
It creates fucking work.
I'm wasting nervous availability on not being a villain. Dude, I already don't sleep because I'm afraid.
You heard the shit. Fucking Jeremy Scipio was in here talking about. I go on Randy's podcast.
People are gonna see shit. You never know.
Shit. He's too woke. He's too not woke. You'll get canceled. I'm like, yeah, because I'm not playing the game.
No.
I don't have time to play the game.
Dude,
I'm too lazy. I'm too lazy and selfish.
do you know what the
to
need
not
is right
be
now?
on my shit?
Do you know what the need is for it? This is why I feel refreshed with comedy. I wasn't able to do it for a long time. Chelsea she was very pregnant. And also, I just got stuck. I just wasn't being able to be me. I didn't see the outlet. And now I'm realizing, hold on, every pod I went on, every friend I talked to, these are the same guys. These are black, white. It wasn't about race. It was about guys who were fucking chill. Guys who like to laugh.
Living with funny people.
Funny people,
Hanging
funny
out.
guys you can hang with.
That's what you miss the most, I feel like. Whenever I'm not doing enough sets,
Yeah.
I miss being around funny people.
Thank you.
I just feel like I haven't seen my people.
I want to fill a house of people who want to see me.
I feel like a guy who's supposed to be, like a guy who's 12-stepping, who's in AA. And if I don't hang out with enough comics soon enough, I feel like I gotta call my sponsor. Like, hey man, I'm fucking losing.
Yeah.
Like, this is the only place I feel like where what I say is fucking normal. You know, like,
and received.
yeah,
but
and people laugh and they like it. Like, you feel lost. You feel lost. That's how
you really do.
know?
And you really start to get that feeling of being back on the schoolyard. All these kids don't like me. These people, I'm
exactly.
alone. I don't have any fucking friends. I'm the weirdo.
I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Maybe I should think like they do, but no, I'm old enough to know I'm not gonna fucking. But you just
start
feel
judging
like,
yourself. Yep.
and you feel just alone. And the worst feeling is when you write a great joke and
Nobody heard it.
Do you know what it's done for me? The other night we hung out at the Improv. That kid, I don't know who the fuck.
Yeah, that fucking guy who walked.
But he said he liked my Indian joke.
Yeah.
Do you know how much that meant to me?
No,
too much.
Yeah, you know my Indian. You know my Indian joke. I'm like, yeah.
He fucking, and it wasn't even presented right. I've worked on it since, and I've gotten the wording down.
No, but you know how happy I was to be there. It's like, hey man, I saw you. I like your Indian joke. Fucking right. Yeah. But that's what I was going to talk about Jeremy earlier.
We were both throwing bangers that night. We were both throwing the one you said
I always talk
about
shit.
now that Dad's sober. Now that Dad's sober, he's beating Mom for the right reasons. Now she deserved it.
I forgot about it. I should write this down.
Good. You should have written that down. Now she deserved it. That was a good. That was fucked. That was fucked.
I just had one out. So I gotta write that one and the MLK joke.
Yeah. Fucking aces.
No,
Two for two.
but this is how I write my comedy. I have to be with my people.
You have to.
I can't.
You have to.
You know, I don't have the generative experience unless I have people around me.
I was talking with a buddy of mine the other day who I don't even want to be friends with anymore. I'm so sick of honestly, I'm so sick of this.
Sorry,
kid.
Mike, we love you.
Yeah, that's his name. Fuck you, Mike. But
no,
not
Mike
you.
Nell's the
Different
best.
Mike.
Mike Nell's the best.
Mike Nell is the best. No, but what was awkward was that as much as this kid pisses me off on so many levels, we are chill enough when we talk on the shit that doesn't matter about being friends that I came up with some material that I've loved, and it probably wouldn't happen if I wasn't talking
if you weren't in the
to
room.
a fucking
if you
bro.
weren't in the room in that
you know
moment.
what I mean? Dude, I was, and I'll just throw a little riff out, but I was kind of telling him, I was like, look, I'm all for LGBT, I'm all for equal
whatever
rights.
it is, whatever you want.
Whatever you want. But I think it should be treated the same as the rights we give Star Wars guys. You know what I mean? Fucking Trekkie sci-fi guys. Look, if someone's fucking with you for what you're into, I'll step in. You know what I mean? I'll help you fucking win. But if you go to the store dressed as Chewbacca, I'm gonna take a picture of that. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna fucking I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna laugh at you a little bit.
You can do that, but it is still weird.
I'm gonna laugh a little bit. I'm gonna bump the guy next to me and be like, this motherfucker thinks he's a Wookiee over here.
If you put a cowboy hat on here in LA, it'd be fucking weird.
It'd be pretty weird.
You can go to the store. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not.
Do what you want. Do what you want. That's it.
I was like, hey, the fucking jerk off cowboy came in and bought this.
Yeah. You couldn't miss him. He had a fucking cowboy hat on.
You didn't say the fucking he couldn't come in.
No.
You didn't get weird about it.
But yeah, that's the thing is that these kind of things come from being in your environment. It's around being around people you can feel comfortable with, and you feel like a fish out of water. You know, it's like I don't know if Einstein really said it, but they say you can't judge the intelligence of a fish by his ability to climb a tree.
Yeah,
and you feel like a fish not climbing trees. You're like, how am I losing in life? How am I? I'm a fucking white guy. I'm 6 foot.
You're making a different opinion on things that people don't otherwise say.
And I'm not in a place where I feel I can excel. You know what I mean? Like I've got to be in my lane. I'm not a surgeon. If you put me in a surgery tonight, I'm going to blow it. You know, the person's going to die.
Well, no one's expecting you to. Yeah.
Fortunately.
You're a relationship doctor, not a pulse doctor.
I do help a few of those.
Yeah. No, well, so that brings me to a great point. We're coming up at the end here.
I want to do this all night.
I got a few. I know, but I got a few great stories for you.
Okay.
Great news stories, and I didn't get into it with Jeremy because I knew this would be better for you.
Yes.
No, because these are all relationship things.
Love
so
it.
I like doing the news.
I am a matchmaker during the day for those.
I know
that-
he,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
he is.
We
Which
won't
is-
discuss who with, but I am.
No, but
And,
I'm bringing
yeah.
these stories to you
Yeah.
because he's the right guy to bring
Yeah.
it to. So this first story, breaking up is harder for men than women, according to studies. A new study from Humboldt University is flipping a common relationship stereotype on its head. After reviewing data from more than 500 students, research has found that men tend to be more emotionally dependent on their romantic partners than women. The study also suggests that men may pursue serious relationships more eagerly than women, in part because they are typically receive less emotional support from family or friends. While women are more likely to lean into a broader social networks, men rely heavily on their partners for emotional connection and support. Do you, as a professional matchmaker, do men take breakups harder than women?
I would ask because I love analytics. I love studies. I would ask for clarification on the voluntary or non-voluntary status of that.
Yeah, well,
because does a guy take a
always
breakup
hard.
harder?
Every survey, anything that relies on people voluntarily reporting could be skewed.
I'd be curious because it's two separate things. If they're saying a bunch of guys who decided to go through a breakup, it was easier for them to walk away from a relationship. They decided to end. But if you're getting dumped, let's just assume they mean dumped. I think they mean dumped.
Exactly. They're assuming that on a dumping in a dumping scenario, men take it harder than women.
I think we do because I think men, our value. We know, and we always bitch about it. Women's value is their looks, and men's value is their accomplishment.
Yeah.
So men will often establish a woman as his accomplishment.
Yes.
And so if that accomplishment abandons him, then he's naked.
It blows up his view of himself.
Well, he has no value.
Yeah.
Because men have a huge problem with external value. If you establish your value externally, and your external value abandons you, you are at zero. In fact, you're at -0 because what a man needs to do, he believes he needs to get that woman to say, no. I do love you. We could keep going out. You have some control in this. And then he feels, as long as that woman values me, then I can go get other women. And so a man will actually want to get that woman back just to have sex one more time.
Yes.
Just to fuck one more time to prove he
the
could
worst
do it.
idea
And
ever.
then to be like, it was my idea. Fuck you, bitch. I don't want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he can go date the rest of the world. But until he can get that girl's approval, she's the only girl in the world.
Is that a big part of your business? Do you deal with this kind of thing? How do you deal with it? How do you deal with it in a practical sense?
In the coaching, I deal with mostly guys. And
You know what I'm saying? But how do you get them over that?
So what I do the fives. I call them the fives. I have a series of fives where you got to make a list of 5 things. One, you got to make a list of the 5 things of value you bring to a relationship.
Okay.
What do you bring? So you become aware of why you're valuable to a relationship. Am I good at
Yes.
communication? Am I good at compliments? Am I good at being on, like, little things? Who cares? And rehash this list. Make it, all these lists, make them 15, 20, work on it for weeks and just keep boiling what the top 5 really are. And then you work on the 5 things I'm looking for in a relationship. Because the biggest mistake guys make is they look for, we talked about this earlier. The biggest mistake men make is we look to solve a problem of ours with a woman. So if I feel small, if I feel like I'm not cool enough, I'm not accepted socially, my parents don't like
If I
me,
get
guys.
this hot girl who's hot enough, she'll make up for it.
I'll be taller because I'm with her. I'll look cool, like a Ferrari keychain hanging out of your pocket. Then she becomes your Ferrari. Now you've done what people call objectify a woman. This is the worst thing.
That's actually the worst way to do it.
It's the worst way.
No, honestly, when you explain it to me outside, it's like that's actually the worst objectification of women.
It's the worst.
It's like, oh, they brought it upon themselves. Like, yeah, but even the fact that they did makes it even worse. Like, it seems usury in a circle.
It is usury. It's 100% usury.
Usury in a circle that no one wants. No one wants.
The woman is going to be smarter about it than you, and that's why she'll destroy it.
A good woman would never be involved in that. You know what I'm saying?
Or unfortunately, because but also. A good woman may not know she's in it until too late. And there may be a kid involved. There may be a house involved, a mortgage and finances. And then she may say the worst situation you can be in is an insecure man who's using a woman for his sense of security. Because you'll see on some podcasts, I wear a black t-shirt that says security right across the front.
Yeah.
Your job as a man in both sides, men and women. But what we bring to a relationship is security. It's not holding a door is nice. Having a nice house is nice.
Yeah.
A lot of money is nice. That's all fucking cool. What matters is security. And if you know that your job, you're applying for a job with a woman, you are here to bring security to her life. If you understand that and you know what that job asks for and you know how to deliver it, you have nothing to worry about. This is why when you're growing up, girls are always like, oh, you know, my boyfriend's such an asshole. And you're like, oh, man, good thing you got rid of him. Go out with me because I'm a nice guy. She's like, I'm still with him.
Yeah,
Fuck you, loser.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
you. Yeah.
And I always say it's like this. Security and nice are two separate things. And the way to look at it is like a tree, okay? So if security is the trunk of a tree and niceness is the leaves.
Is my cot.
Well, shaft. No,
Sorry.
but
I'm just, I'm shooting from the hip.
if the literally, if the trunk of the tree is security and the leaves are nice, you can have a tree that's all trunk and no leaves.
Yeah.
That's still a tree, right? But if you had all leaves and no trunk, that ain't a tree at
Yeah.
all. That's a bush. And she already has one
Yeah.
and doesn't need another out of
That's
you.
smart.
And
That's
she'll
smart.
fucking discard you.
Yeah.
So yeah, the point is that if you use a woman to fill a need in your life as opposed to an interest, a genuine interest, then eventually
Yeah, they want you want them to be a part of your life and vice
voluntarily.
versa. Yeah,
Just like life.
exactly.
Just like life that we said, if you're aware that you could kill yourself
Yeah.
and you don't,
I don't want to be with anyone who doesn't want to be here. Yeah.
and you decide for my life, I don't want to be in a life I don't want to be a part of. If I'm here out of force, then that's misery. But if I decide, yes, I could jump in front of a bus, but I don't, then I'm living a voluntary life.
Yeah.
And if I say to a relationship, hey, if this goes to shit, I can leave.
Yeah, I have my whole life ahead of me.
Then she's like, oh, this guy lives in the real world. He protects his space. But if you're with her because she makes you feel whole, then she's going to go, oh, wait a minute. He's not with me because he likes me. He doesn't even see me. I'm just a solution to a problem in his
I'm
life.
part of his prop in this thing.
And then she goes, wait a minute. What if he either one, gets healthier as a person and doesn't have this need anymore, then I'm useless. Or he decides that I got 5 years older and a 5-year younger girl solves the need better,
Yeah.
then I have no security again. And then she'll fucking destroy your life. And that's when women become heartless. You know, the quote unquote, every guy at a bar who's crying into his beer, lost his fucking house because that bitch took everything and that bitch blah, blah, blah. She wasn't a bitch.
Yeah.
She was protecting herself.
Yeah.
You didn't provide security.
On that note, guys, you can find him at Paul Roseberry.
We go, get me started. I'm like a wine.
Where can you find Paul Roseberry? Where can they find you, Paul,
Where can't you
for
find
the
me?
breakup?
PaulRoseberry.com, Paul Roseberry _comedy on Instagram.
No, but also if your relationship's going good, like our friend outside.
yeah, well, yeah, I just love to hear about it. You know, if you want to hit me up, you can hit me up anytime.
please
Paul
hit
at
me up.
PaulRoseberry.com. It's just a thing that I love working on. I've been through it the hard way.
No,
I did every wrong way to get here.
Paul, listen. You guys know me. Paul's no bullshit. He's been in and out of the. He's in the comedy game. He's been in and out of the relationship game for years.
Yeah.
You were doing this back in Boston when I met you.
Right.
You were a matchmaker back then.
Yeah.
You're still doing it now. We had an hour conversation with Jeremy outside. We won't share that with
Love
you.
this shit. No, but it's just fun. It's just
It is fun. It is fun for Paul. Mikey, you got any questions for Paul? What do you need from Paul? How do we get you some fucking puss?
I'm good. I got money.
Did you ask him how do we eat some puss? Is that what you said? How do we get
you some puss?
How do we get you some puss? And he said, I got money. It'll work. You will get puss with money. I mean, that'll work.
We got some
But
plans next week, Mikey.
the thing that I like to help guys get is to be fucking needed. You know what I mean? Like, oh wait, hold on, dude. Did I miss some good shit? You guys.
Needed?
I don't want to be needed.
Needed?
I gotta be
Oh my
needed.
God.
Maybe
It
needed's
sounds
the wrong word because
that's
the
a
end of the
lot of effort.
episode. But like fucking hot.
Yeah, Mikey, I don't even want to be needed. I want him
Claude.
to leave me. Please leave me when you're
Claude
done.
for
Ladies,
you.
please
I want
leave
him to
me.
claw for you. That's what I want. I want to make him scream. But anyway, we digress.
Where can they find you, Paulie? Where can the people
I
find you?
hide from most people.
No, where can my audience find you?
Yeah.
Come on
PaulRoseberry.com. Paul Roseberry on Instagram. Paul at PaulRoseberry.com is my email. Hit me up. I like to talk.
We're going back to the regulars. We're going back to the regulars. He's going to be on a lot. I love you guys. Thanks for coming out listening. Paul Roseberry at PaulRoseberry.com at whatever matchmaker site.
The matchmaking, I can set you up with an amazing company.
No.
But that's for another time.
DM
I don't represent
DM him
anyone other than myself.
DM him directly and don't fucking pay them.
Jesus Christ!
All right, guys. This is it for this week. We love you guys. I'm Randy Valero. Follow me at Randy Valero. Follow the podcast at Radio Simplo. Shout out to fucking Second Floor Studios. Shout out to Paul Roseberry fucking coming back,
awesome,
my
dude.
guy. We're gonna do it a
Glad
lot
to be
more
back.
than this. I love you guys. We'll see you next week. Peace.